Hey guys, my name is Max, and today on the Halo Chronicles I'm going to be going through my thoughts on Warzone Firefight. So firstly I'm going to begin with the likes that I have for Warzone Firefight, and it is personally one of my favourite game types that have been brought out this year. The first thing I enjoy about Warzone Firefight is the variety. There's so many different maps and different rounds for each map that no matter what, I have no idea what the next round's going to be, and depending on the teammates you have no idea how it's going to finish, and that's what I love about this game type. It's so casual and unique. There is also no stress involved when playing Warzone Firefight. You can play it really extremely stressfully and try hard if you want, but the game mode isn't designed to be played like that, and that's what I really love about it, because Arena is so stressful and so fast paced that sometimes I just want to sit down and have a chilled time, and that's why Warzone Firefight is so good, and sometimes I play it simply to warm up my aim. The music and tension is also very well implemented. They take some music from the campaign, as a lot of other Halo 5 game types have, and it is implemented great within the game type. As certain rounds come to a close, the music racks up and the tension is really well employed. I always feel more immersed in the game when the music is added later on in the round, just to signify the urgency. Right, so they are my main likes about the game type, and now I want to give a few solutions to some of the problems that I feel have arisen during the game type so far. The first big problem is the spawns. Sometimes you get spawned way too far away, and this is a big problem, say in rounds where it's right near the end and you only need a few more shots into the last enemy just to finally kill him, but if you're spawning too far away then you have absolutely no chance of making an impact. However, one idea I have had to improve that is, say you spawn very close to the enemies, but you get an overshield for 5 seconds when you spawn, so that it gives you a chance that if you do just happen to spawn too close to the enemies, you have a chance to back up and move to cover or engage in them. Now before this update, one thing I did notice was some of the rounds were nearly impossible. I think it's Raid on Apex 7, the Warden Eternal round in round 3 is nigh on impossible due to how little wrecks you have. Now I know this has been balanced, and this will probably change my opinion when I go back and play Warzone Firefight. Another big problem I've seen so far is that ammo runs out way too quickly. The way I would improve this is by having ordnance drops throughout the game, along with increases to ammo as you go along. I think that Spartans should spawn with an extra 3 magazines in every weapon across the board, because when you're facing certain bosses, because they are pretty much all bullet sponges, you can waste an entire rocket launcher and it will do almost nothing. Also, I feel you should be rewarded for large kill streaks or longer survival times. So if you do survive for a certain amount of period, your guns automatically reload to the full clips, or if you hit a certain kill level, say you get an unfriggin' believable or something, you get extra ammo added, or for every kill, every couple of kills, just so that the weapons are used more, because I feel like I'm more inclined to use a vehicle just because it has unlimited ammo, whereas weapons are almost useless as they run out way too fast. One other big problem, and this is especially true with the bosses, is that they are all simply bullet sponges. Whilst some do offer unique experiences, such as the Grunt Goblin flying across the map, I do overall feel that they are just too similar to kill, and I would like different variations of ways to kill. I can't remember, but I did see a video where they recommended that Warden Eternal, whenever he has like a crawler or a knight killed near him, that takes down his health as well, which would mean anyone using low level Rex can just pick off smaller and easier prey, and that would also take down the boss's health. Or having specific weapons and vehicles geared towards certain bosses, such as the Grunt Goblin being easier to kill with a rocket launcher, or the Mantis hijacks on where the soldiers hijack mantises were easier to kill with, say, a railgun. Something that makes it more clear when the round starts how you can take them down quicker, so that newer players would be able to learn that, and the older players would be able to take advantage of their knowledge. Next is the interactivity. I feel there should be more maybe buttons and doors that you can push around the map that open up different sections that do affect how the AIs attack you. So you can open and close specific doors. Say there's a swarm of crawlers, you can close off specific doors so they have to take longer routes, maybe in objective based rounds where you have to defend a certain place. And I feel this would just change each round, as it would be completely unique to how you control it rather than a specifically set round with certain spawns and certain enemies coming in certain ways. One thing that I also do think is quite annoying is the soldiers. Now, this is a very nitpicky thing that I personally have, and I haven't heard anyone else really talking about it, but considering they are the second weakest Promethean force, they are stronger than a Spartan. They take something like 3 or 4 melees to kill, and rockets, sometimes it can take 2 or 3 rocket launchers to kill them, and that is ridiculous when you compare it to the Covenant, which their second weakest is a Jackal, which is killed with 1 simple headshot. So I feel that the soldiers should be nerfed slightly in their health. Everything else about them is specifically fine, because certain rounds there are just hundreds and hundreds of soldiers all just standing at the back of the maps with light rifles, and you can put 2 sniper rounds to the head, and sometimes it may not even kill them. And I think that is quite weird considering how lower tier they are and the level of Rex you'll be using when you're facing them. Another thing I'd like to include is more rounds. I think 5 is a very good base, but something they could include is different game modes where there's 5 rounds, 10 rounds, 15, or an unlimited amount. These would be less scripted as the initial 5 are, which obviously have specific targets, and maybe there were more swarm based rounds, and this would open up completely new game types within Warzone Firefight, as I feel some people want more than just the basic 5 levels and could achieve until they eventually die at the end, or a round has to end at a certain point. And one of the last few points I have is to customize more. I do feel Warzone Firefight should be available in custom games as well as actual Warzone itself, as there are so many game types I wanted to create based on the Warzone assault settings with attackers and defenders, but I've never been able to because it's not in custom games, and this is the same for Warzone Firefight. In Halo 5's Forge you should maybe be able to put down specific swarms, so have knights spawn and then give them a timer, and this would make so many new and creative experiences within custom games, and maybe some of these maps made and game types made can be brought into matchmaking, and this would just add so many more varieties and bring people back who maybe didn't enjoy Warzone Firefight at the start. You would be able to build a more simpler Warzone mode or Firefight mode which didn't require Rex, and I feel that the more customizability given to the player the better. And this is the last point. I feel that I left this last because it's the most ambiguous and probably won't happen, and maybe something that could be in Halo 6 if this game type's brought back, and that is bigger bosses. Maybe having to fight a scarab where you are on top of the scarab and have to take down different parts of the scarab whilst having swarms of elites facing you, and maybe if you fell off the scarab the fall damage would kill you, which would give you an incentive to stay on it. Maybe you could include some new Promethean elements with that as well, and just having bigger areas to fight, maybe fighting on top of a mammoth as well, or just something else that would add more than the base level of bosses we have, but that would be very difficult to implement, and I would like to see it in Halo 6 maybe. So I hope you enjoyed this video, thank you for watching, and I'll see you on the next video.